John, live from Covington, Georgia, preaching from the Holy Bible of the living God, who spoke through men who were moved by the Spirit of God, so that we can know what God has already said, so that we can hear what God is saying as we're faithful with what God has already given, what He has already released, so that we can be like Him and show that we're faithful, that we are serious, we have gravity, that we're hearing God, that we desire all His law. Some people are selective and obey only what they hear and not what He's written, or they just want to interpret some dreams and go by that. And some people want to only go by what they see and understand here, and not what they hear from the authorities that God has placed, or God's present help and instruction, and in the moment, in the season law. Because sometimes you'll read what God is saying here in the Bible, and it'll be true, and generally, for most purposes and most circumstances and times. And then when He tells you something contrary to that, you might think, oh, that's against the law. But it might be part of the same law. It might be part of the same fabric. You just can't see it. Kind of like, you could pick an example from anywhere. I'm just going to pick it from music right now. You might learn the basic musical scale, right? Oh, these are the whole notes, and that sounds good, right? Play the whole notes. You can make songs out of that. And then as you're doing that, whether it's whole notes, because that's in a specific scale, a set of notes. And then you might play, for example, on the piano, all the white keys are the whole notes, and the black keys are the ones in between, right? The sharp or the flat, they call it. And it might sound a little off if you didn't plan on hitting that, because it just doesn't fit in the set of notes that you're playing. Not that it always sounds bad. You could understand, if I want to use these black keys, I have to stick with this set, because it's like a family. They sound good together. But as a beginner, you might just start with the white keys, and you might have an understanding. Don't hit the black keys. They don't sound good, right? So that's a temporary law. And then you might learn some other songs, and they say, use this black key. And you might think, no, you don't hit the black keys. Right? Those sound bad. You're not supposed to hit the black keys, right? But no, here you hit that, right? It sounds off. It used to, but now it's going to sound good with these. And then you advance even higher, where you we understand there's a set of notes, right? A set of keys and tones that sound good together. And if you play that while you're playing this family of notes, it doesn't sound good. But on some other song, on an exceptional, on this song, you're going to do that. You're going to purposely make it sound a little off, right? Make it sound a little like strange, because you're trying to employ something. You're communicating something. There's a purpose that you're conveying. That's easier to conceptualize or understand. Like they might do that in a movie, like something bad happens, or they're having a conversation, someone does something off or goofy or weird. The background music might do that, right? Oh, this is a good opportunity to play that off note, right? Ding! Something went wrong. We're communicating that. Or it could be part of this, classical music. They're telling a story, and they want to catch your attention like that and shift something. So in a movie or in a play or production, any kind of time when they play music, and you have special circumstances, right? And so does God. And so it is in life, right? And in relationships and purposes and a mission that you're fulfilling in God's plan and God's story. And he's the author. He's telling it. And so we want to be in agreement with him and have him use us and be on the side of glory, right? And be one of the vessels of honor, because that's the division: good and bad, honorable, dishonorable. Right? You run your race, you finish your story, and then you're going to be part of the good or the bad, the ones that made it or didn't make it. And so those that care, that want a good ending, right, then they're going to pursue God. I need you, God. I want you, God. I like what you do. I like how you do things. I like the endings that the men of God have. I like how you do things, God. So you want to agree with God, walk with God, right? You dig into his word. You dig into his word. You strive to know his mind, and you endure the rebukes, right? Jesus is going to tell his disciples, how slow are you guys, right? You're so slow in heart to believe. Your faith is so slow, and yet they're going to endure that. They're going to face that. They're going to receive that and continue to walk with him, because they're letting Jesus dig into their hearts and empty out through offense, right? Oh, the old mindsets, your old ways, that doesn't belong. Get that out of there. You didn't remember the miracle of the loaves, right? Remember it. Set your mind on these things. Think on these things. Walk like this. Think like this. Talk like this. Have this mindset. So Jesus is creating opportunities again and again for instruction. So he tells them, all right, you have 2 swords? Bring it. That's good. That'll suffice. And then Peter's going to use the sword, and then he's going to get rebuked. What do we bring the swords for? So I could rebuke you. Right? Use it. Use it. You have it. All right, good. Now, let me tell you. Right? Hey, you don't know what spirit you're of. Right? When you wanted the fire to fall down on that town, yeah, that's you. That's no good. That's what we're going to get rid of. But he wanted that to come out so that he could point at it and say, see, that. No. Right? Peter cuts the guy's ear off. That. No. Right? So you let it all come out. Let it all come out. Right? You flip to the page. Oh, your book is messed up. Get the white out. White that out. Okay, what else? What else? Oh, stop right there. Yeah. White that out too. White that out. That's no good. That's no good. You learned all that from the world. Oh, yeah, you usually use this, right, to get success. White that out. No, you're not going to rely on that. You're not going to talk like that. You're not going to think like that. And he's rewriting your book, your heart. He's doing surgery on you, on your heart and your mind. And that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. The doctors give you anesthetics, right, anesthesia, where you don't feel the pain. It deadens your nerves so that they could, get their screwdrivers and their knives and all their tools, metal tools, to open up your guts and dig around in there, take that dead heart out, put a new one in, stitch it back up. After surgery, yeah, the anesthesia, if you used it, God might not always use it, right? But even if he does, it's going to hurt. It's still going to hurt. After it's over, you got to get used to the new heart, the cutting open, that's healing, right? As it stitches back up, as the cells recover. Oh, it hurts. And you got to walk, right? With this new heart, with the new organs, with the new mind, with the new thought, with new behaviors. You have to rebuke yourself, right? Because you've been instructed. Yeah, when someone teaches you something new, this is how you hold it. Right, in sports or in the kitchen, and then You're going to learn it. Oh, this is the right way. So now you have the model. Now you know. But you're going to now be on a transition coming out of your bad habits. So you grab it. Oh, I held it the wrong way, but I know the right way. Let me fix it. It's this way. And then as for me, it was like maybe golf or tennis, holding the handle this way in this position. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Only because you never did it before. And as I do it, I might revert back to, oh, I'm comfortable with this. And then I look at it and say, oh, no, that's wrong. I was taught to do this. So you fix it again. And then eventually you adapt, right? Oh, no, this is the way. Fix it again. Correct it again. So you rebuke yourself. No, we don't talk like that. We don't think like that. And yeah, the unbelievers, they don't have that. They don't have the right way. So they're going to think, what? They're always going to think that they're always doing right because they're never receiving correction. They're only adopting new styles, new fads, new culture, and it's all affirming them, right? You do you. You're great. You're beautiful just the way you are. You never have to change. Oh, you're fine. You're perfect. Hey, have a the medal, right, for participation. And so when you come to Christ, no, he says, no, this is the way. You're wrong. And so that's a little different than what we're used to in the world. Oh, there is a right way. There is a right way. Right? And everyone else wants to say, no, there's many ways to God. There's many ways to worship. There's many ways to spirituality. There's many ways. Yeah, and God says, those many ways are the many ways to hell. But if you want to get to heaven, if you want eternal life, there's one way to that. If you want the right answer, there's one right answer. Right? Yeah, talk all you want to your teacher. Right? Say, hey, there's many ways. And no, the teacher will say, no, I'm looking for this answer. There's one right answer. You need to fill in the bubble. And the answer is B. Is B. The answer is B. And you might say, well, it could be A. Change the way you think, teacher. You're going to explain your story. Yeah, the teacher might not care. It might cut you off, might let you finish. Anyways, F. Right? You failed. It doesn't matter what you say. If you get the wrong answer, and there is a right answer, right? So that's what we're dealing with. There's a truth. There's a law. There's a way things work. And we understand that. We respect that, right? In many other areas, when we drive, right, this is the right side of the road. Sure, you could use your mouth, your reasoning, and say, I mean, I could drive on the wrong side of the road. It still works. You might justify yourself, contorting the truth, right? So, I pull up example. Sometimes the road is blocked, right? An Amazon truck is parked right there and he's making a delivery and I have to drive on the wrong side of the road. See? So if I can do that when the Amazon driver's there, then why can't I do it whenever? Right? Wrong, right? We see what you're doing. But that's very common practice, right? So that principle is true. Yeah, there's an exception. But you want to stretch it, right? We stretch the truth. That doesn't mean you drive on the wrong side of the road whenever. You're not free to. There's a law. Argue with the judge. Argue with the police officer. You're still going to get arrested. You still have to pay a fine, a fee. Same with God. Same with this life that we're living in. There's a spiritual law. There's the law on the road. You obey that. Obey the whole thing, because you don't want to just obey the laws of the traffic and just have the traffic part of your life go well. You don't want to just obey the laws of middle school, right? High school, and just have high school go well in your life. Don't you want all of your life to go well? Well, you live in a world that's created by God. Right? God created all this, the heavens and the earth and everything in between, and all the animals, all the molecules and particles and atoms, and all the laws and all the protons and neutrons and how they spin and attract and cohere and bind and adhere, and the sound systems and the waves and the particles, how they move, how the temperatures affect everything, all these things. And then underneath that, right, the spiritual, right? Under it all, or over it all, or in between it all. Right? The spiritual laws of everything. So if you can grasp that, if you desire that, right? God says, no, yeah, I'll give you dominion. You can rule. You can be in league with the stones. You can be in league with this whole world. So there's not just the police officers. That's one example. That's like a parable, right? Okay, so you understand that. He's there with the sunglasses, with the hat, with the uniform. Stop. Ticket for you, right? And there's that you can't see. Same image, right? Same role. Enforcers of the law. Oh, you broke God's law. Here's a fine. You just received a fine. Right? You can be aware of that. God is so gracious. He opens the door and invites us to that. So I'll let you know these laws so that you don't have to just break 10 laws in a day and not know you've broken them and receive the curse, right? A fine for breaking this. You've broken this. You've held on to unforgiveness this long. You let the sun go down on your anger this much, and then you heard the preaching here and you disobey. You know that you're not supposed to watch that, and you watch it. You know you're not supposed to go here, and you went there. You know you're not supposed to talk like that, and you talk like that. You know you're not supposed to, right? So that might feel stressful. You might prefer, it's a lot less stressful if I don't go to church, if I don't read the Bible, if I don't try to follow this law. You think it's not, but you're just stacking it for the end. Yeah, why am I in a hospital bed? Why is my leg raised up? Why am I in a full body cast? Why am I not being able to connect? It's because of all those things that you ignored to try to exchange it for a stress-free life. You just moved it to this part of your life. Now that you're this old, now that you're here. Yeah, okay. Right? So that's how debt works, right? Credit card, you spend, and right? That's you're deceived if you think free money. It's not free money, right? We understand that. You do have to pay. You're not quote unquote paying now. You're using cash that you don't have now. It's not in your bank. You have a zero balance. But the credit card makes you feel like, oh, it says I have a limit of what? 2,000? Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. So you're actually going negative. I know it feels like you got things. You brought shopping bags home. Good life, right? That's not a good life. Temporary until you get a letter. Right? It's all red. It has the word collections on it. It has these scary verbiage on it. Right? You better pay. Oh, it's late. It's due. Late fee. Yeah, and it's going to mount up. And how long are you going to ignore? Rip the letter up. Doesn't matter if you rip the letter up. You didn't rip up the consequence. Right? Because someone's coming to kick you out of the house, towing your car away. What's happening to my stuff? That's my stuff. It's not. It's not. Same with our lives. You ignore the spiritual laws. You ignore God. Yeah, you're going to get things. You're going to get things that you'll lose. You lose because it's not really yours. Not really yours. Even your own life. Your very life. And once you lose your life, then what are you going to do? Right? There is an end. There is an end. There's a final consequence. Right? So God is so merciful. He gives us, right, a life of consequence. Right? When you're a baby, no. Right? No. Right? How many times does a child hear no? They hear no most often because they're learning the boundaries. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't go here. Don't touch this. Don't talk in these scenarios. Right? Don't yell here. Don't cry like that. No, I know why you're crying. You don't need anything. You're just frustrated. We don't tolerate those cries. Right? Just let me be. No, you're a baby. You're going to have to learn. You can't do anything, right? But the baby's going to try. The baby, the toddler, right? They start off not knowing any of the laws, but they learn. How do they learn? No, right? Frustrating, right? Offended, offensive. That's why they're going to cry a lot. Right? Because let me try this. No, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. And then as they grow older, their life isn't as frustrating if they comply. Right? If they know how to cut off, circumcise those desires. Right? No, you can't play with those toys. That's your older brother's. You have your toys and you have your older brother's toys. Those you don't touch. He built that. It took 30 hours for him to build that. Don't touch his sailboat. Don't touch it. That's not for you to play with. Don't take it in your bathtub. He really values it. He wants it on the shelf behind the glass. That's not your toy. No. What's going to happen? If you agree and say, oh, hurts a little for temporary, right? A little bit, and then you agree, fine, right? Okay. And then your life will be easier because you're going to focus on, oh, this is my toy, my little rubber boat, right? My little rubber ducky. And this is my toy. You can play with that and focus on that. Unless you're rebellious, right? And you keep looking at it. Right? But I still want to play with it. That's okay. I'll just wait until my parents are out the door. Click. Okay, they're out the door. And I'll just pull up this chair here and just climb and slide this glass door. Oh, but you were told no. Yeah, but I still want it. So you're supposed to cut off the desire. No. I'll keep the desire. I'll cut off the instruction, the person that gave me the instruction. Oh, you're about to cut off relationships. You're about to cut off favor. You're about to cut off your access to other good things, many good things. Yeah, you're going to be grounded. You're not going to have other presence. You're not going to have, right? They're not going to smile at you. Yeah, you don't know how much you're losing, right? Trying to get this little thing. And so, right, the patterns of life and instruction and obedience and laws, right, and finding them out and adhering to them, or your desire, right? Your desire leads to your own destruction. It just doesn't feel like it though. And God is so good that he shines a light and says, look, this is how it works. Do you see that? Look, it's poisonous. I know your desires suggest to you things. It seems like your buddy, like a counselor, and God's telling us the truth, right? No, that will lead to your destruction. So, yeah, measure it. Have temperance. Desire, check. Instruction. Right? Don't just go with your desire. Don't just run off. You have a desire. It comes up, right? It swelled up. It got provoked, right? You got enticed. Do you know what to do? Yeah, get it. No, wrong, right? Desire, check, right? Check yourself, right? They say. Right? Checks and balances in the government, right? Check. You don't just run amok. You don't just, because we're going to have dictators. We're going to have tyrants. No, you need a check. You got the 3 branches of government. They check each other. You pass the law, I'll interpret it, right? You pass the law, I'll enforce it, right? We're going to check each other so that you don't own everything. You move and act, but I'm going to watch you. And as I watch you, this guy's going to watch me, like rock, paper, scissors, right? So, you're the same with your desire, for your personal benefit, right? Desire, I want something. Okay, now before I act on it, before I go after it, what do I have to check? Right? Check with mom, check with dad, check with God, right? Check with the law, right? Check with God. God, I want this, right? No? Okay. And if you were told no, right? Some people take that as an opportunity to, okay, so now I know that just means I have to do it out of your sight. Wrong, right? So we're trying to learn how to be. That's the right answer, right? Be, how to be good. God says, no, do good to those that be good. Not those that get away with appearing good. Those that are good, who is good. Right? So that's going to be in your heart. So that's the work we're going to do. That's what we're going to look at, right? And commune with God in your bed. Right? Open your heart, right? Unscrew that. That's been shut. Satan's shut that. Right? So get the screwdriver, unscrew it, open it, and there's a pit of snakes in there. Yeah, because you were watching that, channel 5, channel 7, channel 10, channel 11, channel 13. And when you got older, channel 137, and we all know what's on that channel, right? So, oh yeah, that's filled. It's nasty. It's nasty. Poisonous, venomous snakes. But if you receive instruction, Jesus has swords coming out of his mouth. Yeah, let him apply that to those snakes in there, in your heart. And then he'll give you desires that are pure, that are good, that are according to the purposes of God, according to what he's doing. And then what happens, right? If this is the purpose of God, if this is what he's doing, and you're in agreement, you're in alignment with that, right? So that you don't have to be the young child who's always getting slapped. No, right? Take that out your hand. No, don't go there. Now, right, you're not going to face that. No, you're not going to hit the walls. You're not going to learn the boundaries. Now you're going to, whoa, I'm moving in the flow of the river. I'm moving in the same, I'm being supported. It's carrying me. You want to go there? And, whoa, here's a boost, right? 10 miles per hour, faster. Right? Whoa, all of a sudden, you're running and, whoa, I'm running faster. What happened, right? What happened? Yeah, men of God, they outrun chariots. They outrun other men. They outrun them. They translate. This happens. They get picked up by a taxi. They go straight to heaven. This happens, right? Yeah, because you agree with God. You cut off your old desires of the old man, of the old creature. You take up the new mind, the mind of Christ. You put on Christ, the armor of God, and you fight his battles. God says, oh, the battle is the Lord's. Right? Just walk out there. Oh, look, they're fleeing already. Right? Just throw a stone. Oh, look, you hit them. Bullseye. Just walk up to your enemy. Right? Just take his spear, take his water. Oh, look, they're sleeping. They're not waking up. Just walk out. Step by step by step by step by step. How many steps does it take to walk out of the middle of the enemy camp and they're all step by step by step? They don't hear a single thing until you make it clear out. You made it to the heart of the enemy camp. You made it all the way out, and no one blinked, batted an eyelash. Right? They don't know. God's going to keep them asleep. God's going to keep them distracted, keep them defeated. That's life as you live according to the law, right? Supported by God, in league with the stones. Yeah, so the army is going this way. Yeah, that's true too. Right? The army is going to fight. They're going to fight your enemies, because you've made the enemies of God your enemies, and yourself no longer an enemy with God. Right? Before you were going the other way. The whole army is going this way, and you're walking the other way. Yeah, you're gonna get some pushback. Hey, little kid, where are you going? Hey, there's no way. There's a million angels, right, going this way. All the chariots, all the horses are going this way, and yeah, you're gonna get knocked by someone's shield, by someone's shin. Yeah, there's a huge army, huge crowd, and you can't get through. They're going this way. But once you learn, oh, we're fighting, oh, we're in a war, oh, you pick up your sword, you go in the same direction. Yeah, and then you face the enemies. Oh, God's enemies are my enemies. Yeah, you're going to start seeing people get knocked down. You're going to start feeling, oh, no opposition. Oh, that knocks down, that knocks down. So that's what we're doing in this life. Turning around, repenting. That's repentance. Your own way, that's foolishness. Don't go your own way. Go this way, the better way. This way is better. It's the only way, really. If you want to get anywhere, really, the one way, Jesus Christ, is the way, the life, and the truth. Learn of him. If you want to get anywhere. If you don't want to live a life where you take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back and 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, right? People live lives that feel busy, that feel productive, because you're taking many steps. How many steps did you take today? 1,000. I met my goal. I'm getting my steps in. 1,000 steps forward and 1,000 steps back. Where'd you go? Nowhere. What did you gain? Nothing. Right? Because you're not going with God. You're not gaining. You're not actually getting anything. You're you're stuck where you are. Busy, losing energy, right? Using energy, being depleted. You're getting older. You're running out of time. You're running out of energy. You're running out of life. You're getting nowhere, right? But with God, yes, with God, then you can start storing up treasures in heaven. Right? And then you can actually collect. You can actually reap. Oh, here, right? God's going to give it to you. This is all the stuff that you've stored up, that you've won. Here are your riches. Without God, what are you going to get? Nothing. Zilch. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, but what about that one good thing I did? No. Hell. Torment. But I stored up some things. No, none of it counts. He's going to toss it all into the sea. I don't remember any of those good things that you did. If you're not faithful, if you don't remain faithful to the end. So here's Job chapter 33. I'll start with, let me see. You just want to read it all because it's so good. It's so good. I'll just start with what I have on here. Verse 26. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him, and he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's amazing. It's so compact, right? That's the gospel right there. That's the message from God to man. That's what we ought to do, right? That explains things. That's the invitation, right? That's the key. That's what we don't do, but what we can do, right? What we can see. You're having trouble. You're not hearing God. You're not finding God. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him, and he shall see his face with joy. Praying to God, that's humbling yourself. For he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned, right? I have sinned. So most of us are not going to say that. We're going to justify ourselves. I didn't sin. I don't do anything bad. Yeah, go ahead, tell your story again. I tell the judge, tell the policeman. But if you're one of these, right, that can say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, right? Assess your situation. Are you gaining or are you not? Are you going in circles? Are you going somewhere or are you not? Right? Are you understanding, or are you coming to the understanding that, wait, all this Google searching, I'm not actually learning anything, right? I learned about the Ford and the Honda and the Mazda and the Nissan, and wait, this isn't real knowledge. Wait, this isn't profiting me. Wait, this is vain. Wait, I'm wasting my time. Wait, is there more? Isn't there something more? Wait, life. Is life vain? Am I living in vain? It feels like vain. It feels like, right? I'm not profiting. There's more. You should sense that. God made us living spirits. God put a beacon in us that knows, no, there is a God. If I don't have God, no, you should have a sense that something is missing. Right? There's no joy. No, I could be more joyful. I have a capacity, but how come it just feels like there's just grains of sand in this cavern, this cavernous place? Just a few grains of sand. That's the world for you, right? You feel satisfied. You feel joy. And you just hear little pin drops. Ding, ding, ding. It's not full. It's not full. Right? So you acknowledge, it profited me. I don't know the way. I have sinned. My ways are wrong. I'm wrong. Verse 28, he will deliver his soul. He will deliver his soul from going into the pit. Yeah, with all that meager, with all that little power, little knowledge. Yeah, living in ignorance, continuing in ignorance. You are going to the pit. You are going to hell. But if you can acknowledge, I'm weak. I don't know the way. I'm foolish. I do wrong things. Right? I have sinned. Oh, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. You will be saved. You will receive salvation. Who prays to God, who humbles himself. Right? Doesn't that make us want to read the whole chapter? Right? Yeah. Verse 1, wherefore, Job, I pray you, hear my speeches and hearken to all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words shall be of the uprightness of my heart, and my lips shall utter knowledge clearly. This is Elihu speaking on behalf of God and showing us that he indeed is. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Stand up. Behold, I am according to your wish in God's stead. I also am formed out of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not make you afraid, neither shall my hand be heavy upon you. Surely you have spoken in mine hearing, and I have heard the voice of your words, saying, I am clean without transgression. I am innocent, neither is there iniquity in me. Behold, he finds occasions against me. He counts me for his enemy. He putteth my feet in the stocks. He marketh all my paths. Behold, in this you are not just. I will answer you, that God is greater than man. Why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For God speaks once, yea, twice, yet man perceives it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. He is chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. Yea, his soul draws near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to show unto man his uprightness, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him. And he shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looketh upon men, and if any say, I have sinned and perverted that which was right, and it profited me not, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo, all these things worketh God oftentimes with man, to bring back his soul from the pit, to be enlightened with the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, hearken unto me, hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me, speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, hearken to me. Hold your peace, and I shall teach you wisdom. Yeah, listen. Right, listen. He's surrounded by wisdom. Even he himself said, oh, wisdom lies with you. Right? He might have said that sarcastically, but it's true. These are all wise men. Him, his friends, even though he had to pray for them. Yeah, this is a very wise conversation with Job in his suffering after 7 days of silence, just mourning with him, grieving with him. 7 days, whole 7 days, they're going to sit with him. Just be with them, sharing the burden, the pain, until he speaks. That's going to spark up a conversation about God. Right? So that's good. That's good. You want to talk about God, not the doctors, right? Not your knowledge of biology and creams and medication and cortisone and hydrogen peroxide. And no. They're going to talk about God, what they know about God. They're searching after him. What do we know about God? What, based on God, what can we say about this situation? What can we say about life, about you, about me? What do you know? What do I know? They're going to pull all that out, and then God is going to speak. Right? After they've finished their words, after they've exhausted what's in their heart and in their mind, and reached their limit. Right? Oh, Job is right in his own eyes. We're done. And Elihu's going to speak and encourage Job to listen. And then God's going to speak. God's going to come and say, who is this that speaks? words without knowledge. You want knowledge? Let God speak. Right? And Job is going to do exactly what we just read. Right? I abhor myself. I repent of myself. Right? God, what do I know? Right? God is going to say, look, see this rain? You see this raindrop falling? You see it hit your head? Now tell me about that, Job. What do you have to say about that? What are your thoughts? Right, what are you going to say? What do you know about that? I feel a little cold spot and it's wet. No, let's rewind. The little drop, where does it come from? Where did it go? Right? Let's follow it all the way up. Where is it going? Do you know its house? Where it came from? Where it lives? Does it have a father? Tell me these things, Job. Right? You were so verbose. You had so much to talk about. You were very expressive, right? Job and his friends, both. Yeah, we know God. We have things to talk about. This is what I know about God. This is what I've experienced. God is this. God does this. And when God finally speaks, no one's talking, right? No one's going to interrupt. Oh man, we thought we knew. We thought we knew things, right? Humbles everyone. And Job gets the double. Yeah, God picked him out. Said, look at this perfect man. Even though he's going to charge Job, right? Oh, no, so you were wrong in this. But still, before all that, God's going to say, this perfect man. Why? Job was striving with all his heart, with everything he has. So according to what I do know, I am going to give God all. Yeah, it's ignorant. There's some ignorance in there. He doesn't know everything. But with what he knows, he's going to give all his life, all his effort, all his thoughts. He's going to apply it, right, to God, to his children, to his family, to his society, to everything about his life, every decision. God says, look, he's doing well with what I've given him. I'm going to give him more. I'm about to give him double. I'm about to increase him. But before I do, just look at what he's doing with what I gave him, right, already, what he has. So God wants to see that, right? As you desire more from God, as you strive for more, right, he's also looking at, what did I give you? What do you know? And how are you doing with that, and 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 with that? Oh, you didn't know you had so many things, right? Yeah, because if you were not grateful, if you were only focusing on what you don't have, right? But God takes account of, no, I gave you this, I gave you this, I gave you this, I gave you this, I gave you this. What are you doing with it? Oh, we might be embarrassed, right? We might have been stewarding well 2 out of the 5. I didn't know that you also gave me this, this, and this too, God. Yeah, so we want to be thorough. We want to be up on that, right? Good stewards. Are we doing well with everything God has given us, right? Because people care. People care. I give you something, and I go over to your house, and I see it's collecting dust. I might feel a little sad, right? I gave you that present, and oh, you're not using it. Oh, you esteem it like that. It's just in the corner there. It's like crushed under a pile of other things, right? What's on top? Oh, you use that. Oh, you like that and you appreciate that. But what I gave you, man, it's squished on the bottom. It's in the corner. You probably don't even know you have it, right? Ah, you feel bad. Yeah, but that could be with God, right? Oh, I gave you this, and oh, you don't use it? You don't care about it? Right? No, we want to understand, what did we receive? What do we know from God already, right? 66 books, that's a lot that he's already given. And then of that, right, what he's revealed to you, what you do know. And some of this, even before you read it, you knew. It was in your heart, right? And God knows all that you know, right? So we want to be careful that we're doing what we already know is right to do. Because he knows whether you know it consciously or whether you know it in your heart, right? So you're going to be aware and mindful of your conscience too. Right? Does that go against your conscience? Why are you doing it? Why are you letting yourself do that? right? And not that our conscience is God, but he does hold that valuable. Like, don't go against your conscience, right? And then as we graduate, as we go higher, we're going to learn more. Like, we're not just going to live by our conscience. We're going to learn of him, more of his law, and then his ways, and get closer and closer and closer to God. So that's what we're doing. That's what we want to do every day. Today, have I gotten closer to God than yesterday? And tomorrow, right? Continue to grow, and that in respect to God, right? Because that's the only growth that matters, according to the eyes of God, according to the knowledge of God, the love of God, and the likeness of God. In Jesus' name.